Good evening, yogis, and welcome to your practice. I'm Sarah if you're new here, and today we're going to be practicing a yoga sequence that has been designed to help you sleep. So it's going to be a very relaxing, restorative sequence, and you'll want to set up your space so that you're nice and calm and relaxed. So make sure that you're not going to be disturbed. You can turn down your lighting, you can play your favorite soft, gentle music, and you'll also want to make sure that you have lots of props. So at least 2 blocks or a couple of big books, at least 2 pillows or 1 large pillow like I'm sitting on, or maybe a bolster if you're lucky enough to have one, a blanket, and I think that's about it. So pause the video, get set up, and I'll meet you back on the mat. Okay, so we'll begin our practice at the back of the mat. We'll take our pillows or our bolster and we'll just take it out in front of us. So resting your forearms on your pillow or bolster, resting your forehead down. You can also use a block. So making sure that you're nice and supported in your child's pose. Just taking a few deep breaths here. So extending the arms and breathing into the back body. So inhale, visualize the whole of the back expanding, and then exhale, visualize the back line contracting. Good. Another couple of breaths here, extending the arms forwards. Inhale, exhale. Good. So starting to arrive in your space, starting to arrive in your body. Just allowing anything that might have gone on in your day so far to be put to one side. And enjoying this time for yourself, for your practice. Good. Slowly from here, start to come onto all fours. And then option to take your pillow underneath your chest. So I'm just trying to be mindful of my mic. So you can place a couple of pillows underneath your chest. Or you can, if you have the flexibility, start to lower onto your forehead or onto your chin and your chest. So we're coming into Anahatasana, heart opening puppy pose. And we're really allowing the belly to become soft here. Good. Opening up through the chest, through the underarms. Just allowing all of that space to gently release. And just breathe here. Good. So deepening the breath. Inhale. And then try to make the exhale nice and long. Good. Inhaling. Exhaling a little longer than your inhale. Lovely. Sticking with that, staying in Anahatasana, heart opening puppy pose. Focusing on elongating the exhale. Nice. And then slowly coming up from our Anahatasana, sitting back on the heels, and then we'll slowly start to transition onto our back. So just starting to bend the knees and then roll gently down onto your spine. Now we're going to come into snail pose. So you might want to take your props again. You might want to take your pillow behind your feet. You can make this nice and high depending on your flexibility. So from here, we're going to take the feet overhead. So we're going to gently take the feet overhead and then bend your knees. Take your hands onto the mat, allowing your hands to support you, and then just allow the back line to slowly open up. Good. So staying in your snail pose. If this does not feel right for you today, then you can come into a supported caterpillar pose. So just allowing yourself to forward fold here, using a prop underneath the forehead to support the head. The head is heavy. and completely relax. If you're in your snail pose, just be wary not to move your neck. So both of these poses are essentially forward folds. And what forward folds do for us is they start to switch on our parasympathetic nervous system. So this is our rest and digest, and it has a really calming effect on the body. So doing this before sleep can be really powerful, and it can just allow your body to understand that it is time for rest. It's time to start to slow down. Good. And then just staying here a little longer. Again, coming back to the breath, focusing on elongating the exhale here. Perhaps removing a prop if you're taking the forward fold variation. Otherwise, just staying in your snail pose. You can also extend the legs a little further. So modifying slightly either in your caterpillar or your snail. Nice. And then removing the props. If you're in your snail, come and meet us on our backs. And we're going to take a supported bridge pose. So we're sliding a block or perhaps 2 blocks. So make sure that you're nice and supported. So I quite like having 2 blocks here. And we're placing them underneath the sacrum, so the flat part of the lower back. The feet are underneath the knees so that you're nice and supported in your bridge. Good. And then we're going to stay here. If you want to add on, then I will give you a few options, but just know that this is already a nice pose. It's opening up through the front of the hip flexors. It's releasing the lower back. It's a really nice place to stay. But if you do want to add on, you can extend the arms overhead, take hold of each elbow. You can extend the legs nice and long. You can also just extend the arms all the way back. So up to you. And again, you can close the eyes here, or you can start to soften your gaze, so taking a hazy gaze, just allowing yourself to relax, to slowly start to let go of any tension in the body. So in these yin-like postures, it's really nice to relax the muscles. And we actually get more out of the poses when we relax the muscles. Now, we're not going to be holding them for too long today. So I wouldn't necessarily call these yin holds. In yin yoga, we hold postures from 2 to 10 minutes. Today, we're just holding them for around a minute. But it's still nice to relax the muscles and to feel that nice opening in the fascia, the deep connective tissue. Good. Take one more deep breath here. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Slowly walking the feet in, pressing the feet so that you can lift the hips, and taking our blocks to one side. Good. Squeeze the knees in, give yourself a nice hug, and then we're going to take a supine twist. So we're going to shift our hips over towards the right and then allow our knees to fall towards the left. Now there's a few options. If this is quite deep, if you find twisting quite challenging, you can take your feet nice and wide. You can also use your blocks to support underneath the knees, and you can make this quite a relaxing twist. Otherwise, you can shift the hips towards the back. You can keep the knees together. It's also quite nice to place a block between the knees. Or you can start to double wrap. So you can take the top leg around the bottom leg, taking twisted roots, but just be wary that this is quite a deep twist. And then you can cactus open the arms and take your gaze over the right shoulder. So slowly relaxing and softening through the right shoulder, opening up and just breathing into this twist. So particularly in twists, we forget to breathe. So make a conscious effort to breathe. something we need to remind ourselves, or we shouldn't need to remind ourselves to breathe, but often it's not something that comes naturally to us. So particularly in our day-to-day life, in stressful situations, we don't realize that we're not breathing properly. Good. Inhale. Exhale, exhale, exhale. Good. Come back to center. Draw your hips back to the center. Give yourself another squeeze. Perhaps lift the head, the neck off the mat. And then take it down. So moving on to the other side, shift your hips towards the left. Again, the knees can gently fall towards the right, or you can double wrap and come into your twisted roots. Gaze over the left shoulder and then soften through the left shoulder and the left pectoral muscle. Nice. Again, you might wish to close the eyes. You can even practice this whole sequence with the eyes closed. And of course, if you like this sequence today, feel free to save this video, to come back to it, to share with friends. It's something that you can keep practicing and just notice how that changes your sleep. One more deep breath. Inhale, inhale. And exhale, exhale, exhale. Coming back to center. And then our final posture before our Shavasana. So there's a few different ways you can practice this pose. So Viparita Karani, you can place a block underneath your sit bones, or maybe take your sit bones on a pillow. You can gently extend your legs up towards the sky. Or I like to find a wall and shift my hips as close as I can towards the wall. If they don't quite meet the wall, don't worry. And then I like to use the support of the wall to hold my legs. And then just placing the hands on the torso. So one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. And it's a really nice sensation, the sensation of the blood flowing down towards the heart. It's a really restful pose again. So another one that stimulates our parasympathetic nervous system. And this one is particularly good before sleep. I would invite you to stay in this posture for around 5 minutes if you have the time today. But if you do not, then when you're ready, just gently walk your feet down the wall. Come back to your mat. And then find your Shavasana. So make sure that you have some socks. You might wish to play your favorite song. You can place your pillows underneath your knees, and this will help open up the lower back, so it should feel really good. You can place your blanket on top of you, making sure that you're nice and cozy. And I quite like to place a block behind my head, but this is completely optional. Some people prefer not to. Palms face up towards the sky. And then we're going to finish our practice here in Shavasana. So we'll take 3 cleansing breaths together. So inhale, take a nourishing breath in. And then exhale, let anything that doesn't serve you go through the mouth. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. One more, inhaling. Exhale, big sigh out of the mouth. Nothing to do, nothing to manage. Enjoying this time that you've made for yourself. And starting to acknowledge this sense of pure relaxation. Every cell in the body is completely relaxed. The mind is relaxed. The body is relaxed. And I invite you to stay here for at least 5 minutes. Namaste.